Hello everyone and welcome to The Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. As we said yesterday in The Vortex, the topic of homosexuality in the church is our topic now for the next few days running. For years and years, decades now, there's been a quiet subterfuge going on in the church with regard to this teaching. A large number of bishops simply turn a blind eye to homosexual masses going on in their dioceses. At university after university, outwardly and openly professed homosexuals have taken over lecture pulpits in classrooms and lecture halls on campuses, insisting the church is wrong and demanding the teaching change. Again, this happens right under the nose and often with the tacit consent of clerical officials at the campus and the knowledge of the local bishop. At Fairfield University, for example, a Jesuit school run in Fairfield, Connecticut, the school boasts this on its website. Fairfield University is a comprehensive Jesuit institution that prepares students for leadership and service in a constantly changing world. Bullpucky. It leaves their souls woefully unprepared for the spiritual dangers that threaten them. A few clicks further on the site, and you come across this page announcing, loud and proud, a series of conferences aimed at denying the Catholic Church's teaching. The conference is called More Than a Monologue, Sexual Diversity and the Catholic Church. It's an unprecedented collaboration. 2 Roman Catholic universities and 2 non-denominational divinity schools are coming together to change the conversation about sexual diversity and the Catholic Church. For too long, the conversation on lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender issues in the Roman Catholic Church has been only a monologue, the website continues. The sole voice being heard is that of the institutional Catholic Church. We must engage in more than a monologue by having a 21st century conversation on sexual diversity with new and different voices heard from. This series will show the variety of viewpoints on issues of sexual diversity among Catholics. Each event has a unique focus, and as a whole, they will lift up new voices that are rarely heard and raise awareness about the impact of church teachings and public stances of the lives of LGBT people. The goal is to encourage more vigorous, honest, and open debate about sexual diversity within and outside the Catholic Church." End quote. That last part, by the way, is a flat-out lie. The goal is not to encourage more debate. That is modernist code and doublespeak and disingenuous doublespeak for throwing church teaching overboard and continuing the revolution of evil that swamped the church in the West for a half century and counting. Here is the simple question. Why is this allowed to go on? And please spare us the deceitful, diabolical charade of academic freedom. That's a pile of hooey, and we all know it, especially the modernist Catholic crowd. They know it all too well. This disease is allowed to fester essentially unchecked because too many bishops and religious superiors simply allow it to. These same men allow seminaries and religious houses of formation, better termed deformation, and universities to breed hatred for the church and its teachings. They give a pass to nuns who are old, rampant feminists and sometimes lesbians to corrupt young minds. They look the other way as their own parish priests allow so-called LGBT ministries to pop up all over their diocese. These so-called ministries are anything but. They are little hotbeds of revolution within parishes that want nothing less than the overthrow of church teaching. Members of these groups ingratiate themselves into parish life as music directors and liturgical ministers, and everyone likes them because Bruce is so sweet. What threat could he possibly be? Mean old church, bad, mean old traditionalists picking on little helpless Bruce. Meanwhile, Bruce, after a bounty of tearful hugs and much dramatic and flamboyant use of Kleenex, goes home to a life of evil and depravity with his immortal soul in serious threat of damnation. And no one in the parish, most especially the parish priest, gives one hoot about that. And what about all the other people in the parish who see Father might be gay and his support of the ministry that everyone knows is gay but pretends otherwise? What about their souls? Heck, gays are allowed to defy the church's teaching because it's tough. Well, what about me and my wife? We really can't afford any more kids right now. What about me and my college buddies? If gay guys can skirt church teaching, what's the big deal about masturbation? And what about me? My girlfriend and I, we really do think we love each other. So how about it, Father? A little premarital sex? After we've prayed about it, of course. The call is to chastity regardless of the weight of the cross. In fact, the weightier the cross, the more abundant the graces. But the cross is something that appears to have been rejected by too many bishops these days. This continual allowance of the furthering of the homosexual agenda, their virtual silence, all in the name of being pastoral, threatens to seriously undermine the very salvation of those in their care. It is simply impossible that this many bishops do not know what's going on. It's simply beyond the scope of reason that religious superiors are unaware. There isn't a soul in the church these days who is in any way plugged in that doesn't know about the rampant homosexual subculture that rules with an iron fist in so many quarters of the church. Given all that has gone on with the homosexual priest sex abuse crisis, and that is exactly what it is and was, a homosexual crisis, you'd think the degree of vigilance of those who are in charge would have shot through the roof. Quite the contrary has happened. What has shot through the roof is the amount of effrontery and belligerence exhibited by these so-called gay Catholics and their supporters in chanceries, universities, and religious houses. The many leaders in the church who do not battle this evil will be held one day to strictly account for what they are allowing to happen, not only to these souls, but the souls of others around them. It's a pretty safe bet that the divine judge won't allow the defense of being pastoral to even be uttered. Pastoral is a code word for cowardice, and in some cases, agreement. Pray for these men who are today's bishops, my fellow Catholics. Pay less attention to the appeals for money and offer prayers instead. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.
Please help us keep delivering these kinds of messages that so desperately need to be heard and acted on. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber. Become immersed in the faith established by Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church is the only hope against evil because that is its God-given mission. As our Lord said, apart from me, you can do nothing. Join RealCatholicTV.com today as a premium subscriber and come to learn and love Christ more deeply.